Tonight, we're going to talk about part 3 of Pity the Fool, Why Wisdom Matters. And tonight's message is about how you are not an island, or you are not on an island. And the whole idea of this message is that every decision that you make affects more than just you. You're not on an island living by yourself, doing your own thing, and your decisions don't affect anybody else. That's not how it works. Every decision that you make affects someone else besides you. I like to think of it like a shrapnel grenade. So I have an actual grenade here. You can tell because it says grenade, so you guys can see that. And I want to show you how a shrapnel grenade works. If you look at the picture here, there are these little pieces all around the grenade. And what happens is there is a little explosion inside the grenade, and it sends the pieces out. The explosion itself is not what hurts you. The explosion, it doesn't do much at all to you. What actually hurts is those little pieces that break off and fly at you. The thing about a shrapnel grenade is you have no idea where the pieces are going to go and what the impact might be. Now, granted, I might toss a shrapnel grenade over that way and it could land over there, and I'm all the way over here, and I'm fine because, well, I'm this far away. But the thing is, that's not how shrapnel grenades work. I might toss it over there, and people might say, you know what? Ryan is the most likely to get hit. Ryan is the most likely to get hurt because it's over by Ryan. And that is technically true. But all it takes is one of those small pieces to come and hit me, and I could be dead. I could be hurt. I want to let you guys know that as you go throughout life and you do things, you are dropping grenades. They can be good grenades or they can be bad grenades. But as you drop them, there are going to be consequences, and you don't always know what the outcome might be. Where you toss something and you might think, oh, well, no, it's not going to hurt anybody because it's over here. But then something happens and ba-ting, it hits someone that you didn't even expect. Your decisions affect more than just you. Our decisions, whether good or bad, affect those around us. We are connected to other people. I don't live on an island, and neither do you. We're going to look at a few examples of the Bible of how people make decisions that affect other people's lives. Have you guys ever heard of the Battle of Jericho? Who here has never heard of the Battle of Jericho? Well, we're not talking about that story, so you're going to get it very, very quickly. Israelites went into land, and God's like, hey, that city right there, I want you to take it over. Those people, they're evil, they're very bad, and I want you to have that land. The thing is, they're super high walls. The Israelites really don't have weapons. They're not really well-equipped army. They're not trained well, and they're just going to sit behind their wall and be like, you can't hurt us, so there's nothing you can do. And God tells them, listen, I want you to march around the wall a bunch of times. Once a day, and then on the last day, you're going to walk around 7 times, and I want you to shout. And when they did that, the walls came down, and the people were able to rush in and take over the city. And so that's the story of Jericho, really, really quick. I don't want to talk about Jericho, though. I want to talk about the battle at the city of Ai, which is, yes, AI. It's not artificial intelligence, that just is the name of the city. So after the Battle of Jericho, the Israelites were to go, and they're supposed to take the city of Ai. And they're like this. They're like, hey, we got this. This is easy. It's a smaller place in Jericho. Walls aren't as tall. God obviously is on our side, so we have nothing to worry about at all. Okay, we can overtake it. We're just going to send like 3,000 people. Joshua, who's in charge of the army, sent spies, check it out. Yep, looks good. We're only going to send 3,000 men to take it over. What happened was that they got their butts whipped. Bad. Joshua goes to God, and he's like, God, did you bring us here just to fail? I don't get it. What happened out there today? Why did we lose? Some Israelites died out there today. Our brothers died. How could you allow this to happen? I want to read from Joshua chapter 7. This is God's reply. The Lord said to Joshua, stand up. What are you doing down on your face? Israel has sinned. They have violated my covenant, which I commanded them to keep. They have taken some of the devoted things they have stolen. They have lied, and they have put them with their own possessions. That is why the Israelites cannot stand against their enemies. They turn their backs and run because they have been made liable to destruction. I will not be with you anymore unless you destroy whatever among you is devoted to destruction. When they went in and they kicked butt at the Battle of Jericho, God said, everything that they have is not yours. I want everything destroyed. You're not supposed to take any plunder for yourself. Because usually after a battle, everyone takes over. They walk in and like, ooh, a PlayStation. I'll take that. Thank you very much. And they go off and they get the spoils of war. God said, you do not get any of the spoils of war. But what he's saying here is you guys lost at the Battle of Ai afterwards because somebody took stuff that they weren't supposed to. They took plunder. And because of that, their sin affected the entirety of Israel. If we go on in our story, there's a process of God revealing to Joshua who it was who stole the stuff. It's a little bit like breaking it down, and they would do a system where they might like kind of roll dice. It might seem like gambling, but God would do something where it would be whittled down. So say, okay, we have this many tribes, which tribe is it? And they would throw stuff on the ground and be like, oh, it's this tribe right here. Inside this tribe, which family line is it? Oh, it's this line. And they would get smaller and smaller and smaller. And it eventually got down to someone named Achan. And this is what happened when it was found out that Achan took the stuff. Joshua said to Achan, my son, give glory to the Lord, the God of Israel, and honor him. Tell me what you have done. Do not hide it from me. Basically, stop lying. Stop covering it up. Be truthful. Achan replied, it's true. I've sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. This is what I've done. When I saw in the plunder a beautiful robe from Babylonia, 200 shekels of silver, and a bar of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them and took them. They're hidden in the ground inside my tent with the silver underneath. The word covet means to want something that is not yours. And Achan wanted something that wasn't his, and he took it for his own. Joshua sent messengers, and they ran to the tent, and there it was hidden in his tent with the silver underneath. Then Joshua, together with all Israel, took Achan, son of Zerah, the silver, the robe, the gold bar, his sons and daughters, and all that he had to the valley of Achor. Joshua said, why have you brought trouble on us today? The Lord will bring trouble on you. Then all Israel stoned him, and after they had stoned the rest, they burned them. Over Achan, they heaped up a large pile of rocks, which remains to this day. Achan is a perfect example of how we are not on an island. Because of his selfishness, other people died. First, in the Battle of Ai, with his fellow Israelites, because God is like, if you're not going to do what I said, then guess what? I'm going to back up, and I'm not going to have anything to do with it. And they were left on their own. We need to realize and understand that what we do has an impact on other people. Now, some of you may be like, this seems like a whack story. Okay, that's not fair. He just took some stuff he wasn't supposed to. And what about the rest of his family? They were innocent. To which when I ask, were they innocent? Daddy comes home from battle and walks in with a gorgeous robe and some silver and gold and goes and tucks it underneath in the side of the tent. And you just miss that? And then when everyone is trying to figure out who it is, because there's this whole long process that Achan or one of his family members could have been like, hey, it was us, we fess up. You should come forward and say, hey, here it is. There was the fact that they took stuff that they weren't supposed to, and then they covered up the fact. So it was sinning twice. I have a mini lesson for you guys. Be careful who you protect. Protecting someone who is righteous is a bold and worthy thing to do. However, protecting someone from a judgment that they deserve while others suffer is a downright dastardly thing to do. Covering up for someone who you know has done wrong and not revealing the truth while others are looking for it and people are being hurt is almost as bad as you participating in the bad deed yourself. This is why those who are aware of sexual abuse at Penn State got in so much trouble. You hear about Jeffrey Epstein. There's Bethel Church now where you hear about this thing that happened and someone did something that they weren't supposed to. Leadership around them found out about it. Instead of being like, you did wrong, you're out. Instead, they cover it up. Maybe nobody will know about it. We're not going to let people know, and we're just going to hide it and just let people know. And then later on, the truth comes out. The people who covered up the truth are just as bad as the people doing the wrong thing. If I did something wrong, and our lead pastor, Pastor Chris, knew about it, knew I did it, and hid it, and didn't hold me accountable, he would be in just as much trouble as me, even though he may not have done a thing wrong himself. But if he knows I did something wrong and didn't hold me accountable, it's just as bad. We need justice. And when someone doesn't hold someone else accountable, when he knew that justice was needed and didn't deliver it, they are wrong as well. Another mini lesson that I have for you in the story is this: hidden sin isn't harmless sin. Just because you cover up something, it doesn't mean that the consequences will be covered up too. It's like a grenade that goes off, like a rock dropped in a body of water. The effects of sin will always ripple out and go out and affect what is around it, even when you try to hide it. And again, just like a grenade, you don't know what might happen. You might say, it's controlled. I understand. I know. I got it. It's going to be no problem. This is going to go there. It's not going to hit anybody. But then it does. I think Achan had no idea that his sin of taking and hiding that stuff would have gotten so many people killed. He's a perfect example of how we are not an island. We need to remember that what we do has an impact on other people. Another example I have for you. A bunch of Israelites rose up against Moses and Aaron. They're out in the desert, and Moses and Aaron are trying to lead the people. They were led by guys named Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And this is what happened. They rose up and they said, "Who put you in charge? We should be in charge instead of you." They tried to overthrow Moses and Aaron. So Moses goes to God, and God was like, "Let me take care of this." Numbers chapter 16. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Say to the assembly," say to all the people that are watching, "move away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." Moses got up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He warned the assembly, "Move back from the tents of these wicked men. Do not touch anything belonging to them, or you will be swept away because of all their sins." Sounds like Moses knows a grenade is about to go off, and he's warning everyone to step back and move away and put as much distance between themselves and those who did wrong. So they moved away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Dathan and Abiram had come out and were standing with their wives, children, and little ones at the entrances to their tents. Then Moses said, "This is how you will know that the Lord has sent me to do all these things, and that it was not my idea. If these men die a natural death and suffer the fate of all mankind, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord brings about something totally new, and the earth opens up its mouth and swallows them with everything that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the realm of the dead, then you will know that these men have treated the Lord with contempt." As soon as he finished saying all this, the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them and their households, and all those associated with Korah together with their possessions. They went down alive into the realm of the dead with everything they owned. The earth closed over them, and they perished and were gone from the community. At their cries, all the Israelites around them fled, shouting, "The earth is going to swallow us too." Oh, and then fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men that were following Korah. I bet those 250 guys following Korah wish that they didn't follow him. They choose to hook themselves to Korah. They decided to get close to him, maybe hoping that, you know what, if he's leading this rebellion and he gets in charge and I'm buddies with him, maybe I can get something out of it. By the way, those would be bad people to go to advice to because they have a lot to lose by being honest with you, but that goes back to our first week. Instead of reaping the good things that they were hoping for, they reaped the judgments of being close to someone who was rebelling against God. I want to let you know that this grenade, your sin, doesn't affect just other people, but it also affects God too. Psalm 23, "He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake." What that means is that God's reputation is at stake in our lives. Because many people, they don't see God, they don't know God, they can't experience him, and they're away because they haven't drawn near to him. We might be the best representation of God that they ever get. We are called Christians. The word Christian actually means little Christ. It's like Jesus is the ultimate model, Jesus Christ, and then we are like mini Jesuses, supposed to go around acting like him, being modeled after him. So we are held accountable for our actions. 1 Corinthians says that we are ambassadors sent on Christ's behalf. What we do, it reflects on what people think of God. So I have a favor to ask you guys. if you aren't actually trying to follow Jesus, please don't call yourself a Christian, because I don't want you misrepresenting God. So many people call themselves Christians and do things in the name of Jesus, and they are not following Jesus, and they give Jesus a bad name. For those of you who do call yourselves a follower of Jesus, please try to stop sinning so much. We frequently act as if everything is okay. Well, Jesus forgives me, so it's okay. It's not okay. We need a life change. Our lives should be changed because Jesus has forgiven us. We should be trying to sin less now that he's a part of our lives. We'll never be sinless completely, but we should be sinning less. Death is continually knocking at our door, and we keep answering. Oh, it's okay. Jesus died for me. It's forgiven. It's covered up. It's not okay. There are consequences to our actions. And sometimes to the consequences of our actions, they don't just hit us, they hit other people as well. Even though Jesus forgives us when we choose to sin, and we'll be able to be with him in eternity in heaven, when we sin now, there are still consequences to our sin here on earth. Sometimes other people have to live with those consequences, even when they had nothing to do with the bad decision that we made. There are times I've gotten so angry when other people sin and it affects my life. I need to remember that my sin can affect other people as well. Now, this isn't just about evaluating our own decisions and what we do. Ultimately, we don't want to be dropping sin grenades wherever we go. But we also need to be careful about who we choose to be around. Frequently, we may get close to someone that does something wrong, but we didn't do anything at all. But because we're next to them, because we're close to them, we're still hit by the consequences. It is true that this grenade, I could throw it over there and something could ping over there and hit someone so far away. But the odds are the closer you are to the grenade, the more likely you are to be hit. And so when you hang around with someone that's constantly dropping sin grenades, you're more likely to have the consequences hit you as well, even though you may have done nothing at all. Some of you choose to be around people who are constantly dropping sin grenades. We choose friends who constantly make poor decisions. I frequently hear this as a youth pastor. A teenager will come and tell me about something that happened to them or how they got in trouble. And the story usually goes the same way. They are the victim. They did nothing wrong. And 95% of the time, I find out that they did something wrong. Even though they might not be completely at fault, they did something to add to the problem. Sometimes bad things happen and there's nothing we can do to predict what could have happened, but that usually isn't the case. I got in a fight at school, Pastor Tom, but it wasn't my fault. Okay, well tell me about it. What happened? Well, they started hitting me. Whoa, stop. I want you to go back. Where were you and who were you with? And it turns out that they put themselves in a place where there was a super high chance of something bad happening to them and them getting into a fight. And they say, I didn't start it, but yeah, you finished it. I hear that all the time. Well, they started, so I finished it. Well, you're adding to the problem. That doesn't make it right. And usually I find out that two people started it on both sides. They may have started hitting first, but when you called them stupid or ugly or called their mom fat or something like that, that's what made them hit you. So yeah, they started it, but you kind of helped them to start at you, if you know what I mean. I want to let you know that I might sound like a know-it-all right now. That is because, to be honest, I do know it all. Because I was the one who was always saying, I didn't start it. This was me when I was your age. I was constantly doing it. I was the one who was never doing anything wrong. It wasn't me. And all these bad things were always happening to me. I wasn't the one who threw the first punch, but I was the one who said, your mom, right before that punch was thrown. I wasn't the one who did the bad thing, but I certainly wasn't the one who was running away from and trying not to let that bad thing happen. If anything, it was like I'm playing with matches, trying to get someone else to do something that they're not supposed to, trying to start the fire. I wasn't the one who stopped after the bad thing happened to me, but I was the one who retaliated and shot back after I was hit first. I got into a fight in 9th grade, except it wasn't really a fight. It was more of someone just sort of swinging at me. I was in the locker room after gym class, and this kid came up, and he was just wailing on me for no reason. Nothing really landed. It was whatever. Stop. And I kind of laughed at the end because I was like, you're just mad and nothing really landed. And we got pulled into the office and I'm told that I'm getting suspended. And I was like, I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? I never threw a punch. I made sure that I didn't do that. And then another teacher came and was like, yeah, I watched and he didn't do that at all. Here's the thing though. The reason why he came at me in gym class was because during the class we were playing a game and something was said and I said something about his mom. And so afterwards he came up and he finished what I started. I started with my mouth, he finished with his fists. And so that's what happens. I encourage you to stop the chain reaction. Stop the dominoes from falling. Stop dropping grenades. Stop hanging out with people who are dropping grenades. The consequences of your decisions travel farther than you think. It's like a stone that's dropped in a lake. If you watch, the ripples can travel all the way to the shore. And you had no idea that happened. Some of you need to realize the depth and the consequences of your sin. Some of you need to be like Israel, and you need to stone your friends and then heap a large pile of rocks over them. Now, I don't mean actually stone your friends, literally, oh man, but you need to decisively and definitively cut the relationship. Minimize their influence in your life. Don't stone them, stone the relationship. Create some distance between you and them before you get swallowed up by the consequences from the poor decisions that they are making. Some of you need to stop the chain reaction. When someone starts something, you don't need to finish it. When they continue something, you can stop it and break the cycle. By the way, I'm speaking to you guys all individually right now. But unfortunately, we see this happening throughout the entire world with nations fighting against each other. Well, they started it. And you go back and back and back and back and back, continue on throughout history, and it turns out that, well, no, the other person started, but no, someone else started before them. And it just keeps going. Why can't we just stop it? This is why Jesus came. And he said stuff like, turn the other cheek when someone comes at you. Because if you stop it, then guess what? It stops. If you fight back, well, guess what? They're going to fight back again. But if you can stop it, then you can start living in peace. None of you are on an island. Everything that you do affects someone else. So be careful how you live and be wise in the decisions that you make. We talked about Achan and Korah. There's so many other examples in the Bible too. One of the biggest ones that I like is Adam. Very beginning, book of Genesis. Adam sinned for the very first time. And when that happened, he infected himself and he infected mankind. And it passed on to every generation after him. It's because of him that death and disease are in this world and we're broken. The decision he made didn't affect just himself, but affected all of mankind. There's another, though, that we can find in the Bible whose decision affected all of mankind. And that person is Jesus. Jesus came to earth and he lived as a human. He decided to do that. He was tempted to sin, but he made the decision not to. He then made the decision to teach and preach, to heal the sick and do great miracles. He made the decision to claim that he was God. Well, because he was. And when he was captured by those who didn't like that he claimed to be God, he decided not to free himself. He decided to be mocked, to be beaten, to be scorned, and to be punished like a criminal. He decided to die on the cross. He decided to take the blame and pay the price for every single thing that we have done wrong. He put it on himself. I want to let you know that Jesus, he dropped the greatest, biggest grenade of all time. But unlike a grenade that causes destruction, this was a grenade that can wipe out the ultimate consequences of all other grenades. Yes, people drop grenades here on earth and bad things happen. And sometimes it's horrible seeing innocent people get hurt by other people's sin. But ultimately, Jesus dropped the biggest grenade that if we follow him 100 years from now, the grenades that are dropped now don't matter. All you have to do to get hit by this great grenade that Jesus dropped is to receive the free gift of salvation, to be cleared of all wrongdoing you have ever done or will do. All you have to do is ask for it. By believing that Jesus is who he said he was, that he was God, asking him for forgiveness, and then turning away from dropping sin grenades in your own life. You're still going to sin, you're still going to drop stuff. But if we actively try not to and stay away from people who are doing it, our lives are going to be better. Jesus didn't live for himself. He understood that his decisions affected everyone, and then he made the decision to love us. We have the ability to make decisions that have positive consequences for others. Good consequences. When someone plants a tree, what they're doing is they're giving people shade and sometimes fruit for decades. When we give to Grace for the Journey, we're caring for those who are stuck in facilities and sometimes forgotten by their families. And again, these are things that we need to plan for and do. Some of you go, oh, I forget every week. Well, then make a plan. Or maybe you'll just gather up money over time and then bring it in once a month, whatever works for you. As Christians, we need to plan to drop these positive grenades on the rest of the world, to love them so that the good things that we do show how great God is. We need to make good grenades. Our lives should be all about making positive choices that positively affect the lives of those around us. I want to be like a positivity grenade. That everything that I do in my life, it blasts out and magnifies God's glory. Jesus is our example. I want others to look at me and go, you know what? I want to be like PT. I want the world to look at you and say, I want to be like you. Because you light up a room. Because you bring something that the world isn't offering. The world is offering hate and lust and greed and these awful just sin grenades that affect people, that tear families apart. Where you can come in and you can drop a grenade of love. You can drop a grenade of light. You can show what it is like to live differently from the rest of the world.